Hello everybody and welcome to TradeStation's Market Review. My name's Simon Clarke from Trade with Precision and I'll be discussing some of the key markets of interest right now. Now let's take a look at the mini Dow because last week we were looking at this 15,900 level and we're looking to see if the market could come down and decisively break through this level, and if it did then we could start to look for continuation of the trend towards the low side here. In fact, the market did come down, test this level. On a daily basis it was unable to close underneath it, and in fact it sort of closed above it, and then a couple of days later it came back down to retest it again, and we've got this rather bullish candle here retesting 15.9 before moving on higher. So we've got quite a decisive rejection of this area here in price. What I can also see here on the daily chart is that if we look at the tests of this level, we can also see that we've got some disagreement here with our indicators, just indicating that the way that we use these indicators for convergence and divergence just means that we've got stronger momentum in the market at these equal lows than we did at the previous one. So not surprising we've actually had a push higher here. If we come and take a look at the 4-hour chart, we can see this price action over the past week in a bit more detail. We can see the rejection of 15,900, and now we've got rising momentum with our indicators, and we've got a sort of a trend. It's not the sort of cleanest of trends, but we've got higher highs here forming on the lower time frames. In fact, if we come down to the very low time frames, we can start to see more structure of a trend starting to come into play. And what this means for the mini Dow, for me, there's no clear decision on the direction of the market on the higher time frames, but I'll be more looking at intraday trading opportunities in between these two levels that we have. So we can clearly see we've got 15,900 to the low side. We looked at 16,600 on the high side. We've got this level that's been tested, as we can see, many times here too. So just to see if the market does get up to this level, I might be expecting some kind of sort of resistance here before either the market breaks through or rejects it and comes back down again. So more on the mini Dow, I'm looking for intraday trading opportunities until these higher time frames resolve themselves into a clear direction of trend. Now when we take a look at currency markets, I've got a lot of currency markets at the moment are not in a sort of a clear direction, a clear higher time frame and lower time frame trend confirmation. One of the nicer ones that I like the look of here is the Kiwi against the yen, and what I like about this is the fact that we've got some clear levels on the market. So if we look at the higher time frames here, take a look at the monthly, and we see the monthlies in a solid downward move here. We've got a couple of levels. The one that's most significant here is around the 74,000 level. It's been support before. It's sort of kind of acting as a bit of support here, or a bit of support here in the fact that the market was overextended and now it's sort of bouncing off it. If we come and take a look at the weekly, we can see that level a bit more clearly here. We can see that when the market came down to the sort of 74 area, it was overextended from the moving averages. So not surprising that the market, we might expect a bit of a pullback within the context of this trend to start to look for where the market may find equilibrium and where the downward momentum may come back in again. Now I like the weekly chart here in a downtrend. This downtrend looks very nice. We've got moving averages all in the right order. We've got nice convergence here on our indicators. The market's just trading nicely around previous support and resistance structures that we can see here in the market, and in which case what I'm looking for is an area where the market may find resistance and where selling momentum may come back into the market again. So on this chart we've got a level here. I've marked it in around the round number, but around 80. You can see up here been previous resistance and support in the past. Market sort of consolidated just above this level in the recent downtrend, and the market's now sort of starting to come back up to it. But more importantly, that level happens to be right in between the 10 and the 20 period moving average, so right back in there in the zone. So if the market did pull back up to 80, it's a nice area where it may find resistance for the downtrend or for looking for potential turnaround for the downtrend to continue. So coming down to lower time frames, we can start to see lower time frames are looking rather bullish here. We've got some nice trend structure looking for the long side. You can certainly see that there's sort of trend flow opportunities here on some of these lower time frames, just small bullish candles coming into the buy zone, looking to bracket those candles and trade in the direction of the trend on these lower time frames. Of course, on these lower time frames, I'll be quite happy to intraday trade these, but keeping an eye on that sort of 80 level target on those higher time frames. So whilst the lower time frames are still in strong trends long, I'll be happy to trade this market long, but I'll be looking at getting clear out of the market by the time we get to the 80 level, just in case we see some resistance there and a resumption of the downtrend continuing. Now, the last one I want to take a look at is a commodity. It's platinum. If we take a look at platinum, I think platinum has got some nice trends forming here in platinum. In actual fact, it's some nice trend confirmation across all of the time frames here. So if we take a look at the monthly, we see a nice strong downtrend here on the monthly chart. Averages and indicators all following suit. Again, here on the weekly chart, we've got a very well behaved downtrend here, very nice momentum. If anything, it's looking a little bit overextended here on the weekly chart. So coming down to back up to the daily chart, we want to start to see where the market may have that turning point, where the market may find suitable resistance for that downtrend to continue again. And we can see on the daily chart, we've got a nice downtrend here, nice structure, lower highs, lower lows, and we've also got indicators in the right area too. So we've got a bit of a level through here. Just underneath those lows, we're talking about 90, sort of 945. 945 has been support in the past. Also happens to be there in the sell zone in between the 10 and the 20 period moving average. So if the market pulls back up into that area, again, it's a potential area where I'll be looking for selling opportunity coming back into this market again. Again, if we come down to the lower time frames, we can start to see on these very low intraday time frames, 15-minute and 1 hour time frames, we started to get a nice trend structure and a nice trend structure long, I should say. So again, trend flow trading opportunities intraday on these markets is what I'll be looking for up to that sort of potential turning point on the daily chart. Okay, so let me just tell you about the next webinar programs that we've got running here at TradeStation International. If you come across to the TradeStation International website, come across to the webinars tab and then look at the live webinars here on the side menu. We can scroll down, we can see that the next two that we've got running this week, we've got the first part of the Trader's Edge education program. This is a 2-hour program. This one is open to all, so if you have a trading account with TradeStation or you don't have a trading account with TradeStation, you're welcome to log in and join on this session. Alternatively, we then have trend trading the momentum edge on Wednesday. This is a 1-hour webinar. We'll be looking at the way that we use certain indicators in an unconventional way to be able to read the momentum in the market and help us to support our trading ideas. So if you'd like to join us on these webinars, all you need to do is to come across to the TradeStation International website, come to this webinars tab, and then you can click on these tabs here to subscribe to these webinars. Okay, hope you found it useful and look forward to speaking to you next time. Bye for now.